Alright, what's up, y'all? Back at it with the Legends Championship, second round here. Shot 9 under in the first round, pretty solid. I think I'm leading by like 3 strokes or something. So, getting into the second round here. Keep talking through these shots, teaching y'all how I play the game.
2K Sports and the PGA Tour are proud to bring you the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. The second round of the prestigious
Man,
Legends
they wouldn't be talking
Championship
about the
starts
FedEx
right
Cup at the
now.
Masters.
Hi again, everyone. Andrew Catalon here. Pleased to have you with us today.
Alright, alright.
Coach, as we dig into
Let's see the
this second
scoreboard so
round,
far. So we
who do
got,
you
alright,
play
2 shot
and
lead.
leading the pack
So I
after
guess
round
Xander
three
got a
ends?
birdie.
Yeah, he's out there. He's got the
Brian
putt.
Harmon, another
He doesn't see
lefty
so much
in the
golf
mix.
coming
Sep
his way in this
Straka.
number two
He's playing
hole.
well this
Let's
season.
see what he can produce.
All
Let's get
right.
down to the first
So it looks
hole.
like can't quite remember, but I think maybe a little windier than the last round was. We got 13 miles an hour here. So got the right to left. Gonna aim a little more right side of the fairway this time around. I think the last round was aiming up here as a left to right wind, but this time, with this wind, kind of aim maybe get this blue line started at the right edge of the bunker, let it ride the wind, ride the fade, put a good swing on it. There we go. Hit the fairway.
This from about 150 yards
All
away.
right.
What is
Got
looking like a rough
148
draft here.
right to
Let's take a look
left.
against the wind.
I would say this probably won't help or hurt too much either way. So just kind of play the downhill. Probably want to hit like a 143, 144 shot. Let it kind of skip up there. I think the best way to do that might be this pitching wedge actually. A little worried this might get caught up in the wind and maybe not go enough with the downhill. But I think kind of try not to pull this. And this should ride the wind all right. And I pulled it, but we'll see if it can
This is
get up
pitching wedge
there.
on the way.
Not quite. So I think the pull into the wind
Full swing.
took the distance off
Shots
there, but
rolling in this part of the golf
not
course.
terrible. We'll make a par here. Just kind of shot like this, super flop it. If this wasn't 4 feet up the hill, probably try and go for a chip, see if I could hold out, but not really possible here. Just get the super flop up there. Nice makeable putt.
Is 5 feet away.
Pretty flat.
An important par save.
No
Kind of edged
trouble
it
at
in
the
there, but
leaderboard. Our featured player still
nothing to
on his
really worry
way.
about.
Teeing off on the
All
par
right,
course
11-degree
here.
wind, right to
Bumpers
left.
right to left and
Got this
second
dog
side
leg. Shouldn't
fairway.
really be able to miss
Tee
the
short,
fairway to the
drive
right,
far
so
frontwards.
same right into the fairway. Try and let it ride the wind.
Wow, that's
Maybe catch the
beautiful
hill a little
delivery.
bit, but the wind's gonna kill the ball pretty good. So
And Rich, this is a
still
difficult
got up
spot to
here.
finish.
Probably get a
Same
five
circumstances,
iron.
looking for the same result
Kind of
today.
want to let it bounce just up on the top shelf here, trickle back there. I think this 5 iron with the slope of the hill should kind of ride the wind pretty well. And I think maybe spin it back a little bit with the downhill. Should be a good shot. This might honestly go long if anything, but I kind of like this. Alright, that's a good swing. Overcut it a
This
little
one is a
bit.
little bit left. Not
And
too
yeah, a little
close.
long, but
Wow,
I
that
think
was a
that's a solid
beautiful tee
miss.
off.
This will
Oh,
be
just
another
a
one to kind of
beautiful
just flop up
strike on
there.
another golf ball.
Don't really have the ability to chip this one in very well, so we'll just get out here with another par. Not great on the
Takes
flop,
putt
but
to save
should
par.
be fine. Just kind of aim this one a little out to the left, get a little extra power. Should sneak on in there.
After that hole, our featured player
Staying at
is
9
Xander
under. Looks like
Schauffele.
Xander made another birdie, so a 2 under front
Just
9 for
5 feet on the
Xander
green.
has him one back of
Beautiful
us.
par three down the hill.
Got the par
Beautiful
3, a
view.
little
Looking for the
downhill
birdie
into the
from here.
wind, and it's also kind of, you see, a little half shelf, I guess. So all this side kind of runs this way, this side kind of runs hard this way. So have to get 5 hybrid out probably against this wind, really get it back there. And again, I think with the wind kind of cutting across my fade, you really kind of want to start the blue line out kind of where you want the ball to start, and then just let the wind take it. Won't really cut too much. So I think this will be good. Start just left of the pin, let the wind ride it a little bit, hold it up a bit, see if it gets there. Good swing.
Clodding up, smart.
Wind's holding it up.
Control it though.
Shouldn't really roll out too much into the wind, kind of into an uphill, and that is a very nice shot on what's pretty difficult par 3 here today. Yeah, nice straight downhill putt. Aim it out a little bit to the right. Bang it on in there. Just like that. Got another par birdie start. 1 under on the round through 3. See if we can make another birdie or maybe eagle here on the par 5. All right, into the wind is probably going to be 3-shot hole. Just bang it on up the hill. So let's see how far we can get it up there. Downhill but into the wind. I'm thinking, this is probably going to be one that's going to get left just short of that bunker if I try and hit this 3-wood. So I'm going to club down to the 5 hybrid. Try and get to about 70, 80 yards. Give myself a approach wedge in there. So again, those pitches, especially kind of up a steep hill like this, they're just tricky. I feel like these approach shots are a little easier to control. So we'll hit this 60 up the hill into the wind. Gonna have to give it pretty considerable extra yardage. I'd say for this hill 5, and for the wind maybe another 5. So we'll probably hit this 95, and I gave it a little bit of a up on the right stick on the spin meter. Aim it a little out to the left. Wind cutting across my fade, so it's gonna kind of start out where that blue line is, and then hopefully wind takes it back onto the hole. Pulled it a little bit, so wind's gonna tug it right, but should get up there all right. Gonna spin off the front maybe. It's too bad. See if we can chip this up and down though. All right. So little uphill chip, so you can kind of get a bit more aggressive with it. Gonna be sloping pretty hard right to left, so gonna be pretty quick through this break. Slope's probably gonna take it a little left, so I think we'll aim it kind of far out to the right. See if we can get back there. Get the tempo good on these chips, always important. And that is a nice chip in for birdie there on the par 5. So key there was you got to give it a little extra if you're chipping into an uphill. So it started out at 4 yards. I pushed up to 5. And then you kind of play it like a putt, but you obviously take out the break in the first half. So I didn't have to aim it as far out right as I would have if that was a putt or something. All right, dangerous kind of tee shot here with the wind, downwind, and kind of downhill. I think if I land it up here on the top shelf, it should be safe, but I'm just gonna take a little off of it. Swing easy. 94% swing there. And hopefully this kicks off to the right. Ah, man, lost it into the rough on the left, but not too bad. Still get a wedge, and at this course, the rough isn't, I guess this is the first cut technically, so not really affecting my ball too much. And if anything, we'll take a little spin off. So down the hill here, 13, 14 feet, and we got a little wind right to left. It's probably going to take some yardage off of it. I think the play here is still going to be the 60, and I'll just have to give it some extra. Aim it out to the right. Definitely want to kind of aim it off this bunker. Hopefully let the wind work it in there. It's a wedge, so the wind's not going to affect it nearly as much as a longer club, but I think this should be alright. And it might not get up on that shelf, but I really don't want to miss long in the bunker. Take too much club. Kick left. should sit up nicely. So good shot there. Get up on top shelf. Got a nice flat putt here for birdie. I think it's ever so slightly breaking left to right, so I'm just gonna aim at a titch out to the left in case. Put a nice roll on it and get it in there for 3 straight birdies. Got to 12 under. So I think kind of similar to yesterday, starting 3 under through 5. Heading into another long par 4 under the wind. Definitely want to keep this out of the water. Bunker doesn't really come into play with this into the wind today, so don't really have to worry about hitting onto the right side. Yeah, another long par 4 here into the wind, so probably gonna have to hit this 5 hybrid again to get it back there. It's about a 1-to-1 with the wind, so about 14 yards. And then I think uphill, it's gonna take some more distance. This should maybe run out a little bit. I bet it probably lands about up here is the plan, and then trickle back there. We'll see if we can get it to work how we want to. Maybe a little right of the or left of the target, I mean, but that means it's at the pin. Sit down. All right. I will take that every day of the week. Get myself a birdie putt on a hard par 4 here. Gonna be pretty quick down the hill, breaking left or right as well. So I'm gonna have to aim this out decently far, but not as far as if it was flat or up the hill, because it's gonna be quicker. But kind of imagining how I want this to come off the face. I think about here, put a decent stroke on it, see if it can get in there, not quite. Alright, gotta aim this par putt out a bit to the right, breaking the right to left the whole way. Put a nice stroke on it, nothing to worry about. So, tricky downhiller, looks like Xander's keeping up. Got a 1-shot lead still, but nothing to really worry about there. See if we can conquer this par 3. Bogeyed this one in the first round. This time playing into the wind, or I mean with the wind, up the hill again, and we got it even farther on the right. So obviously, you're never going to be able to hit something like a 5-wood up over this bunker, get it to stop. You'd have to like bang it right into this front lip here and get to just stop up perfectly. So play is going to be use this slope, trying to ride the wind a little bit. I think with how the wind's working, it's going to kind of take it along where the blue line starts. So see if I can maybe aim the blue line between these 2 bunkers here. And then hopefully that'll take it on up there nice. I think actually, 5-wood, it's a longer club. Going to fade a little bit more into the wind. So just going to give it a little more to the right. Especially because I got in that left bunker in the first round. I want to do that again, but that's a good looking swing. See if it's almost too much. Not quite. Not going to feed down there though. Gonna be a quick putt down the hill, but still on the green. Got a putt. Can't really complain there. So again, this is a really quick downhill putt, and like I said in the first round, you're gonna want to pull this back and kind of eyeball it to where you think you want the putt to die out. So I think I kind of want to die maybe on the first third of this hill, and then let it just trickle down there. And then since I pulled it back about 10 feet from where the game started me, gonna have to aim out even farther to the left, count for this slope. So just kind of get a good eyeball on it, see where you want to die, and then let it feed on down there. Should work back to the right now. See if it can stop before rolling off. Alright, not bad. Clean it up for the par. Gotta aim it about, right edge. And it'll catch. And that'll be a nice par after a bogey in the first. Alright, with the wind on this par 4, gonna try and just catch the contours of the fairway. Use the wind to my advantage. and that's a good swing. Hopefully get it over that first hump, and it does. Should kick forward nice. Let's see what we got in here. All right, so I think it's a good spot in this game to have kind of a shorter club downwind into a par four like this. It can be easy to mess up, so usually you want to make sure you're kind of below the hole, if anything. It's really easy to send this long. I think with about 14 miles an hour wind, it's going to send it 10 extra yards, so take about 146, and then 7 feet uphill, you got to maybe add back 2 yards, so we're looking at like 148 on the if you're just aiming here. But then the thing to think about with the downwind shots is it's gonna take a lot of the spin off on the first bounce or two, and it's gonna kick forward really hard. So I'm gonna try and land this almost about 148 and let it really kick up there. Obviously, you can kind of tell there's the yellow slopes here, so it's gonna be kind of steep uphill, and this pins on a bit of a shelf. But I still think that landing it like on the bottom of the shelf and letting it bounce up there with how downwind this is gonna work. So I think what I might actually do is take pitching wedge and aim it up on the right stick. So take a lot of the spin off. I'm not 100% confident since it's a wedge that the wind's gonna push it enough forwards to get to 148 and bounce. I'd almost want to take that 9 iron and just hit like a 90% shot, but I think for the sake of science, gonna see how this one works. Uh, that should actually get up there. Big first bounce. Yeah, so I think with the pitch and wedge, the slope took a little more out of it than the 9 iron would have if I tried to just take some off of a 9 iron, but it can be tough to gauge when you're just taking some off uh, how much to. So I think that was a more safe play, and you still have a nice birdie putt. It's gonna be feeding just ever so slightly left to right the whole way, so I'm gonna hit this just left edge, I want to say. Not really give up the hole, and that should catch the right edge. Nice putt there, nice birdie. Clean it up, and kind of an example on how to take advantage of downwind shots, those shorter clubs. All right, not really going to worry about the bunkers here with that wind. Kind of keep it on the right side here. I think this is a long par 5. So, looks like now the wind is to the side since it's a bit of a dog leg hole. Looks like we can get it there at the 3-wood. Obviously very steep up the hill, so kind of got to ride this wind, hit it up into the slope. So gonna aim at this bunker almost, and hopefully that wind takes it back to the right. Yep, wind's taking it back to the right. And I hit that a bit closed, not exactly on purpose, but that definitely helps out in keeping the ball from fading too much. So got ourselves a nice 33 footer for eagle. Big right to left breaker up the hill, so gonna have to aim it pretty significantly out there and just trickle it on up there, see if we can make a big bird. Got about, 15% chance making this, I'd say. See if we can make a little magic happen. Just kind of imagine where you want to start off the face. It's obviously at the start and through the middle and at the end, all just pretty fast right to left, so you really just gotta make sure getting it out there. I like it. Probably gonna miss low. Just not quite enough speed to get up there, but can't really complain about a tap in birdie there. Closes out a, I want to say 5 under front 9. So looking good in the second round here. Keeping up pace with the first. I think maybe even a little better. Try and ride the wind here. Cut the corner a little bit. Definitely do not want to get down here. That's your main priority. But I think with my shot shape in the wind, don't really got to worry about it. If anything, overcut it there. Might have a little tree trouble now. With the wind and the pin, luckily, the tree's not going to bother. I think, if it was back on the left side of the green, might have a little trouble, but gotta take into account the lie factor here. Gonna be about a 90 to 95% lies it's telling me, so you do have to take account of that. Gonna have to probably club up to the 7 iron, and then with this wind, I think cutting across it, it'll probably take some off since my shot's gonna initially start into the wind. So I think the 7 iron, just add a little backspin to it, gonna work out pretty well. It's a little downhill, but definitely want to keep it up on that shelf. Don't want to let it trickle down. Gotta take into account the fairway slope too, so that's why I'm aimed pretty close to the pin because I think it's gonna start out to the right. So yeah, start out to the right because that fairway slope, but
Just
now
off
working
the
back,
fairway, what a beautiful
left of the
shot.
pin where I wanted to be, and then feeds on kind of down there. Nice
Okay,
makeable
that's
birdie.
good play.
See what we can do here. Good shot.
And now a putt to get to an
Pretty straight,
amazing
just a little break at the
13 under
front,
par.
and
So
then
give us a read on this putt.
getting pretty straight at the end. So I think maybe just a cup out, half cup. There we go.
He makes the putt and extends his
So
lead.
not too much break. Don't want to overread that. Another
And the
three
next
birdie
hole,
streak.
that
Got two of
delivery
those in the round.
is a
Got to
four-shot
15 under.
advantage for our leader.
Par three up the hill into the wind. Again, with it cutting across my shot shape, have to kind of start this blue line out, maybe a little more towards the pin or even left of the pin, and then let the wind take it back. I think 5 iron up the hill would probably land about here with no wind. With the wind, I'm a little worried it's going to be even up to there. So I'm going to take the 5 hybrid. Going to spin it a bit, and then I'm also going to just pull it back to about, let's do 202. So this might go a bit long, but I think that's the miss. Rather still have a putt at it, have a chance for birdie than be down at that bottom shelf or in the bunker. Start out kind of on that blue line, let the wind take it now. Should land short of the pin, feet on about there.
For the first time today,
And that is a very nice
Tiger
shot.
has
So
won
definitely the right move.
this afternoon.
Going with the hybrid rather than the 5 iron. I don't think the 5 iron ever would have got there.
This is such a
And
great
then just a
opportunity for
nice,
him.
easy, straight, short little birdie putt. All right,
Dog leg from right to left.
got a
Generous landing area, but for
par
those
5 into the
playing
wind, a
close
little
to
down
the
to the
sun,
hill.
do I take this second shot on, or do I place
I
it
don't know if I'll end up
on
going
the
for the green
green?
here. We'll have to see what yardage we get. Yeah, so can't really get it there with this wind. And then with kind of how this hole's shaped, I really would not want to have a pitch shot over this bunker or even kind of short from this side. So gonna lay this one up. I think if I hit this 5 hybrid into the wind, I don't think it'll get within pitch range. So I'll just be safe though. Take the 5 iron. Just don't want to get it up there too close to where can't hit the approach shot. 85 yards. So I probably could have got away easily with the other club, but this won't be too bad. So definitely push it out to full with this wind. I think the thing here into the wind with a wedge, especially a 60 degree, you're going to get a lot of backspin, and into this backstop too, you'd get a lot of backspin. It's not like the EA game where all wedges kind of just spin a ton if you hit it into the wind, but if you're hitting into the wind into a back slope where it's all kind of sloping back down like this, that's where you can actually kind of rip it back hard in this game. So what I like to do is push the right stick up on the spin meter to take some spin off almost all the way. I don't want to push it all the way and make my swing too hard, so keep it kind of green there. And then not really up or downhill too much, so don't gotta worry about that. I think just the wind here, 14 miles an hour is pretty significant. So gonna add about 9 miles an hour, and this hopefully this will be a a good yardage. Pulled it, so can't really tell, but definitely was short. Probably could have put it all the way out to full, honestly. Hit that 97-yard shot. That's just gonna be a tricky one to get the distance right because you got to deal with a lot of spin there, and yeah. So uphill putt, gonna have to give it a little extra. Left at the start, right at the end. I'm honestly just gonna hit this one straight, see what it does, make my par. Not a great stroke, and also hammered it, so not ideal. This is actually gonna be kind of a slippery comebacker. And I think again I'm just gonna hit it at the hole because it's a little bit of a double breaker. Yeah, so I find if it's a double breaker and it just looks pretty even with the two breaks, I really just hit it the hole because there's not much you can do to read those, and that's kind of the most consistent way to just make them. Wind's gonna make it hard to get this tee shot out to an aggressive position with the water, so I'm just hitting this short of the bunker, keeping it safe. Should be a short iron into this green, maybe a 7 or an 8. See what the 8 gives me. Yeah, so I think 12-mile-an-hour wind. We'll give it about 15 extra, honestly, because I feel like with this wind, I've been maybe under guessing it. Like on that last hole, I only added 9 yards to my wedge for 14 miles an hour. I feel like came up pretty short. So gonna add 15 yards uphill a little bit. Got this slope on the fairway working right to left, and then gonna kind of start out, I guess, right at the pin almost, and just hopefully my shot shape holds it up against this wind. Another pull, so not swinging it great, but distance control is pretty good, so I think that would have been about the right club. And this will feed back down a little bit, so maybe what do we got, 30 footer down the hill. I'm actually going to leave it out back to where it was. I think they had me at 23 feet. Let me pull it back to 22. It's going to break kind of all the way, just slowly, so don't got to aim it too far out, but probably aim it maybe a little over a box. See what this gets me. Better stroke. Gonna miss high on the hole, so maybe just on the box line would have been a good line there. But got to get really good at those straight 8-footers. That's got a little left to right break, kind of at the start and in the middle. So aimed it just a touch out to the left, but you really got to get good at making about 80% of those medium range putts because those are the ones that kind of keep your scores saved. All right, another par 5 here. Got to try and take advantage downwind. Good drive there. Rode the wind a little bit. Got a bit aggressive with the bunker, but never really brought it to too much danger. And now we got 3-wood. No bunkers to worry about on this hole, so that's nice. And then you kind of just want to work with the contours of these slopes. So I think the easiest way to miss would be to get a little too far to the left and then kind of have it catch to the left edge and feed this way. So I'm going to try and catch this slope here. Let it feed off left, let it feed back off right, work back there to the hole. You just got to give it 3-wood on this one. 30 feet up the hill, so it's a pretty good amount. Full rip, this wind's going to add a lot, but if I'm long, I'm long. Great swing. Hitting the big uphill takes a ton out of it, so gonna just be 25 feet short for an eagle. Looks like a pretty flat putt too. Yeah, we got 26 feet, just barely right to left. Gonna aim this, I think, about out on the edge of this box. Seems like a good reference. I personally kind of like to use the boxes, and if it's longer, I'll just use them as reference points and kind of put my cursor there. And now that I'm looking at this, the end of the putt actually gets ever so slightly quicker on the break right to left, so I think I'm going to just aim it a touch out further to the right. That looks pretty good to me. Ah, overread it again. I think that first line I had would have been pretty good, but tap in birdie, can't complain. Got to 8 under on the round, heading into the 15th hole. Downhill, into the wind, bomb it down there, use the slopes, hopefully get a big kick.
A lot to like about that one. This from about 210 yards.
All right,
Green
got
side well
20
below
feet
the
downhill,
barrier.
so
You can
good
work
amount
this one.
downhill, but 13 miles an hour into the wind, and not necessarily a false front of a slope, I guess, but it's definitely sloping right to left a lot, so this is going to be a tough pin to get this up close to. I think the play is going to be try and work it long, maybe kind of off this slope, and then give about 20 feet for birdie, long and left. I think to do that, the 5 hybrid might not quite be enough, so I'm going to have to club up to the 5 wood and just pull it back a ton, so we'll get to about 90%, right about the pin, and hopefully this will be the right club to kind of keep it low through the wind. I'm gonna aim my blue line out towards, I'd say kind of right at the pin almost. Yeah, that would be right at the pin. And then this slope should shoot off left, and then the wind should kind of also hold it back to the right. So we'll see if all that can kind of work together. Get it just right at the pin, and then maybe a bit long, run past, get a birdie putt. Yep.
5 wood is the choice.
Oh, dunk it. Hit the
Misses.
pin. Oh my goodness, what a shot that was.
And a bad shot right there.
Right at the pin there. Was gonna be long if it didn't hit the pin, so that was pretty much just how I wanted to execute that shot,
Okay,
and
John, what do you
worked out
see
very
on this
well.
putt?
Got 13 feet here for a birdie.
Left to right on this
Left
one.
to right, pretty slow the whole way. Gonna put this out about half a box. Hopefully didn't overread it, but looks like I did.
Birdie.
Oh man,
He's
can't really
through.
be too mad about that one. Just barely
That's
misses.
a tap-in par.
So
No
I
trouble
guess these
here.
last 3 holes, gonna really try not to overread these putts, but
Down to 16.
can't really be too mad. Getting a lot of
Well,
pars, a lot
this
of
was
birdies
a
here.
short
I think we got
fun,
8 of each through or
relatively
not, 8 birdies,
easy change of
7
pace here
pars.
in this
So
green
good round
course
so
of par
far.
3.
Another downwind, short club kind of shot. Gonna be using pitching wedge again. It's kind of similar to that shot I had back on, I want to say it was hole 7-ish. Um, so we're gonna push this up on the right stick, take a lot of the spin off. Hopefully land this about. Actually, I think on this one I'm gonna have to hit a 9 iron and bring it back to about here, maybe here. Yeah, I think about here. Take the spin factor off, just play it kind of normal, because I think that pitching wedge worked on the last one. It was only 7 feet up the hill. This time we're 15 though, and I think that's just gonna be too much for the P wedge to skip on up there with these steep upslopes. So gonna take a lower lofted club here, use the 9 iron, and then hopefully the wind just pushes this one even a bit more. Get to land at about that 148 number again. And this one I'm gonna aim kind of right at the pin. And so what's gonna happen here is since it's downwind and I hit a fade, it's gonna be a bit right because the wind's gonna push it straight off of where I hit it initially, and initially it's gonna start off to the right. So it's gonna be a bit right of the pin hopefully, and then skip back to the left with the way this screen works. So again,
Wow, what a
straight, little
swing
right of the
by him.
pin. That's actually a bit short, but we'll
This is a 9
see.
iron on the way.
Yeah, so
All right, this is
as you can
about
tell,
as good as it gets.
those uphill
Ready?
shots,
What do
if
you
they're
see
if
on
they're
this
pretty
putt?
steep uphill,
Perfect leave.
hitting short clubs, it really you got to add a lot of distance. So underdid on that one, but not too bad here. Got a relatively makeable putt for birdie. Pretty well up the hill, so gonna break kind of hard. Gonna aim this about box and a half out to the right. See if this is a good read.
Oh, this looks good early. This has my attention.
Ah. Overdid again. I think I'm also hitting these putts pretty closed on accident, so it's definitely not working out for me, but see if I can clean that up. Downwind, bit of a drivable par 4. I'm not sure if it's truly drivable for my character, just since it's so uphill, but I think it's going to get up there close enough. It's worth hitting this driver. I won't really leave myself an awkward pitch, so going to do that. Hopefully it doesn't feed into the bunker there, and it definitely shouldn't. It's going to be kind of a downhill to the pin shot, so try and flop it up there, I guess. Can hit the flop with the pitching wedge, get it back there. And when you're off the fairway, the flops don't really run out, so you're pretty safe to do it. I'm going to aim this left, because if I catch it a little left, it's going to feed kind of off this, and if I push it to the right, be still safe. Don't really know how the slope's going to push it to, so flops are kind of tricky. Just want to be a little careful with them. So yeah, push it a little to the left, but gonna work off that slope. Feed down there nice. That should be a decently straight birdie putt, hopefully. Yep. Little left or right at the end. Aiming it just a titch out left. Hopefully don't pull it. Catches the left edge. And another birdie to get it back to 9 under, just like round 1. Going into 18. See if I can make it 10 this time around. This time will be a little downwind, so I'm going to try and cut the corner here on a dogleg left. Gonna aim on the left side. Hopefully this wind and my shot shape are gonna kind of keep it a bit of more of a left or right or straight ball shot shape. And then it's gonna kick right, kind of off the fairway slopes. Yep, so a little baby draw there. Close is gonna help that out a little bit too, but nice baby draw, kicks down the hill, downwind, gets up there pretty far. All right, it's gonna be a tricky one to get the distance right. We got 34 feet up the hill, so I think might have to go up to the 8 iron here, honestly, especially with this wind. It's gonna kind of cut across my shot shape, and then these slopes are gonna push it left too, which is gonna just work against the wind as well. So gonna put this, give it 17 yards of extra club. I hope that really makes sure it just gets up there on the green, and I have a putt at it. Don't want to try and have to get up and down for par. It's kind of a tricky green too. Can really get caught on the slope and fed down here, or if I miss it to the right, get fed into this bunker, miss it short, get fed into that bunker. So this is a really tricky pin. Got to kind of play this a bit safe. I'm going to aim out to the left side of the green, have my blue lines start just kind of, again, left edge of the green, and hopefully rides the wind all the way back there. Yeah, I think that's kind of just the safe play I was going for. Not really trying to pin seek. Give myself a nice 20 footer. That's very makeable. See if we can get this in. Big left to right breaker. Not a ton of downhill. It's going to be a little bit, so I'm sure this will run a little by, but we're going to get kind of aggressive with this. Aim maybe just over a box out. Oh, man. I was like, I am not missing this one on the high side again. So aimed low, missed that one low, but good putt there. Finish out with the par. And yeah, another 9 under round there. Kind of played it very similar to the first, but I think again showed off some of how to play good with the wedges. Learned a little how to hit those downwind shots with the shorter clubs. And then some decent putting. I think, I had some pretty straight, makeable birdie putts today, but it's all about setting yourself up in the approach game, setting yourself up for makeable birdies, makeable eagles, not really having to have tough up and downs. And yeah, leading by 6 on Xander, leading by 12 on the rest of the field. Should probably clean up this tournament, to be honest, and I'll probably bump up the difficulty, but if I end up winning with the 36 underscore, probably would have won anyway, so till next round.